Hey guys, it's Mecrow here. I've been getting a lot of questions about the Where the Winds Meet, so I figured I'd make a quick video on it. So Where the Winds Meet is a kind of a game that you can't really put in a box. This is a fairly large scale kind of solo oriented game. It is a small scale MMO, and then the reality is it lies somewhere in between. So this game, I think the main thing that features that is really appealing is it has really good art. It has really fluid and good combat, so think like kind of BDO like, but a little bit easier to play. But then at the same time, it has some of the comfort that people are looking for other games. So from like a solo uh game or like a small scale game, it kind of reminds me of Power World in the sense where you can kind of explore everything. A lot of people have been comparing it to Genshin Impact, like one of those two style of games. This game comes out on PlayStation, it comes out on PC, and it comes out on mobile in a few days. Comes out, I believe, on the 15th or 14th. So there's a lot of people that are looking to play it. It has a lot of hype in the sense that they show how many people pre-registered for this game, and it's in the millions. So we'll see how many people actually wind up playing it. But this is for the global launch. So like Throne and Liberty did like their own local launch and then did a global launch later. This is somewhat similar where they're doing a global launch now. It seems like they're starting to do the right things, where they're bringing in content creators early to kind of review the game and get footage of the gameplay. But overall, I don't think we have a perfect idea of what is coming. In terms of the weapons that this build will feature, it looks like it's roughly 8 weapons. I believe the bow is an offhand though, so it's not really one of the primary weapons. You have fans, which are more of your healer style weapon. Combat umbrellas are sort of a hybrid role where it's more along the lines of like a melee oriented class, and then you just in general have a lot of melee oriented weapons, right? So I think this plays well from a trying to do things from a solo standpoint, but from a large scale standpoint, uh, I don't think this game's gonna satisfy you if you're looking for just a pure MMO. And the main reason why is when you just have lots of melee oriented weapons and you don't have the threat of kind of range damage in a large scale game, you just kind of end up with Zerg fights that kind of look like this, where you don't really know what exactly is going on. There's some sense of like, people are fighting together, but it's just one giant ball and there's not as much there to kind of disrupt the ball. So it's like, I don't think that really plays well towards the MMO side. Like this game I think it's going to be a good kind of solo experience. It's going to be a pretty good co-op experience, but from a large scale side, I don't expect it to do particularly well. In terms of what it has, this game has a relatively large map, and from this map, this is like where you have your kind of solo slash co-op experience. You can explore the world, you can invade other people's worlds, and then there's kind of queued modes as well as some open world bosses. So you can see like these little skulls on the map. These represent open world bosses. This is from an earlier build of the game. So I think they've said they're releasing with like up to 4 or 5 regions. I assume this is like 2 regions roughly on the map. So it's going to be a lot bigger than this, but it has a lot of aspects that kind of remind me of other games where you can kind of mesh between a few different styles. This studio hasn't actually like published anything that amazing. So Everstone Studio, like in terms of their game published that they have on their site, it's literally just this one. And it's coming out on PC, PlayStation 5, and smartphone. From their interviews, the devs seem really passionate, and it seemed like they created a lot of cool systems, but I wouldn't expect this game to kind of sweep you off your feet. It is supposed to be free, so there's no harm in trying it. It's just, I think a lot of people are banking on this as being like something that's going to kind of be their next game for the future. And while I think it could be a good game for like, 200, 300 hours, I just wouldn't expect to see this game being the primary game that everyone plays going forward. I will be very happy if they kind of surprise us and go past that, but that's where I would set the expectations for this game. It's published by NetEase, which has, published a few like very noteworthy games. Like they worked on the Destiny DLC that didn't do very well. But the probably the most notable game I think people know from this list is Once Human. Once Human is still doing very well, and is a game that people really enjoy from a kind of MMO slash gun light game. This one is set in the 10th century though. In China, there's a bunch of different melee weapons, and
the gameplay will fit more along those lines. So I think for like a New World Refugee standpoint, this might feel good for the melee oriented users because there's actually going to be like really good combat. Like MMO wise, this is top notch combat. But then from an ARPG slash kind of solo experience, it's probably like more average ish. So it while it does do well in certain aspects, depending on like what genre you define the game to be, I just wouldn't say it fits in one box. I would say this game's probably going to be better from a smaller scale standpoint, and then as it moves up in a larger scale, I expect it to not do as well compared to other games. So I think like I wouldn't expect to sweep anyone off their feet in terms of games we're looking for like larger scale games to play right now. I think Albion's the better one if you're looking for like, or probably the best one if you're looking for like large scale combat. Guild Wars 2 is a very popular one that everyone's been kind of eyeing, and then everyone's still in this mode. We're kind of waiting for Chrono Odyssey, but this is still a game that's probably worth checking out because A, it's free, B, a good amount of people are playing it. Like you see almost up to 10 million registrations. And I guess if you are playing this game from a PlayStation 5 standpoint, or if you're playing from a mobile standpoint, this is probably one of the best options that you actually have. It's just from a PC standpoint, there's a lot of good other games that you could play as well. So depending on what you're looking for, it could be the game for you. Definitely worth trying because it's free. I just wouldn't expect you to kind of sweep or expect it to sweep anyone off their feet. So it releases on the 14th. So that's in a few days. It's free. They did do like a kind of a walkthrough with Lazy Peon, which was really cool. And he got all dressed up, and it was kind of funny to watch. But it was more of a cinematic thing. And while they did show gameplay, it was more of the single player slash solo style. So I think that's what they're kind of banking on doing well. And then the multiplayer slash large scale was a little bit more iffy. So, but let me know what you guys think in terms of like, are you going to play this game? Do you think it's like a game that people play long term? Because I'm a bit skeptical of it, but I know a lot of other content creators and players that are really looking to deep dive in and think it's going to be the game of the future. But let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you later.